At some point in our lives, we all come across someone who causes a lot of problems in our life. They may stir up trouble and be the reason behind some conflicts. These people are actually toxic individuals, and the behavior they exhibit is called toxic behavior. We can always decide who we allow close to us, but it's not always that easy to cut out the toxic people from our lives. They might be colleagues, bosses, in-laws, family, co-parents, closest friends, and the list goes on. But who is that toxic personality? The toxic traits of a toxic person include unsupportive and unpleasant behavior, being manipulative, judgmental, controlling, and self-centered. Such people can be the cause of various negative feelings and emotions that you may be experiencing, like depression, anxiousness, worthlessness, and unhappiness. With any discussion of toxic people, it's important to understand that you can't change anybody, so it's best to stop trying. Save your energy for something easier, like world peace. If you've determined that you're dealing with toxic behaviors, there are ways you can lessen the impact these behaviors may have on your mental health and well-being. In the next minutes, I will share with you how to protect yourself from toxic people. But before starting, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel and put the like for this video. This will motivate me to do more interesting videos for you. Avoid playing into their reality. Some people have a tendency to see themselves as victim in every situation. If they mess up, they might shift the blame to someone else or tell a story that paints them in a more positive light. You might feel tempted to nod and smile in order to prevent an angry outburst. This might feel like the safest option, but it can also encourage them to see you as a supporter. While your disagreement might upset them, it might also lower the chances they will try involving you again. Limit your time together. Do you dread seeing a particular person? Feel anxious or stressed beforehand? Take these feelings as a sign you may want to see them less. People who behave toxically tend to focus on themselves and what they want. They might blame you or other people for any problems they have and show little interest in your feelings or needs. This can make spending time with them unpleasant. If you're dealing with someone who picks fights with you or repeatedly pushes your boundaries, consider scaling back the amount of time you spend with them. Put yourself first. On the flip side, behavior doesn't have to be abusive or spiteful to be toxic. Other behaviors can be just as damaging. Maybe the person in question desperately needs your help to get them out of a bind every time you see them. You are always giving and they're always taking, or you feel like their emotional stability depends on you. You might value your relationship with this person, but don't offer support at the risk of your own well-being. Healthy relationships involve give and take. In other words, you offer support, but you receive support too. Avoid getting drawn into the drama. A common denominator in toxic behavior is drama, which can appear to infiltrate every aspect of their life. Even a trip to the grocery store can result in a situation where something negative happens to them and it's never their fault. Still, it's easy for others to get pulled into their drama because of curiosity. Simply put, human nature may make us feel drawn to hearing about other people's troubles. But when dealing with toxic behavior, this can quickly lead to over-involvement and difficulty separating yourself from their problems. To avoid getting swept up in the chaos, consider ignoring your curiosity when necessary and communicating with them about their troubles on a need-to-know basis only. Be clear about your boundaries. You can't please everyone, but toxic people will have you believe that you can't please anyone, so you try harder, work harder, and compromise more. It's exhausting. Toxic people will have your boundary torn down and buried before you even realize you had one there. If you can't get rid of a toxic person, Set stricter boundaries and make sure the toxic person never crosses those boundaries. Stay calm and communicate your boundaries. Boundaries make our expectations clear, so others know what to expect from us and how we want to be treated. Stop pretending their toxic behavior is okay. If you're not careful, toxic people can use their moody behavior to get preferential treatment because, well, it just seems easier to quiet them down than to listen to their grouchy rhetoric. Don't be fooled. Short-termies equals long-term pain for you in a situation like this. Toxic people don't change if they are being rewarded for not changing. Decide this minute not to be influenced by their behavior. Stop tiptoeing around them or making special pardons for their continued belligerence. Constant drama and negativity are never worth putting up with. Just say no and kindly move away. We are often very hesitant when it comes to saying no. It's mostly not about self-esteem or confidence. Some of us have this innate desire to go above and beyond for loved ones. For a toxic person, this can be an opportunity for exploitation. For such people, sticking to refusal can be hard because they might guilt-trip you into doing what they want, but you should stay firm and stand your ground. If you are not okay with something, bluntly say no. It may be challenging at first, especially when the toxic person will throw a dramatic tantrum to try to get their way. But the more you practice saying no to things you aren't comfortable with, the easier it becomes. Talk to the toxic person. Sometimes a person who exhibits toxic behavior might not be aware that what they're doing or saying is harming you. Once you start to feel more compassionate towards the other person, talk to them. Yes, they might not act in a compassionate and peaceful way towards you, but you can be a better person. You can see that they're suffering in some way, and are acting inappropriately because of that suffering. Try connecting with them, sharing that you're having a hard time, and asking for their support. This might not always turn out well, but if you do it in a spirit of connection, they might be open to this discussion. Don't be the victim. People can be a pity sometimes, but you're not one of those. Decide that you won't be anyone's victim. Instead, be the one with the boundaries, the strength, the smarts, and the power to make the decisions that will help you to thrive. Even if they're decisions you'd rather not be making, own that it's a move you've made to get what you want, rather than to bend to someone else's will. You're amazing, you're strong, and you're powerful, which is why you're nobody's victim. And the last. Remember, you aren't at fault. Toxic behavior can make you feel like you did something wrong, even when you know you didn't. It's tough to face attacks from someone who behaves in a toxic manner. They might get personal, try to twist your words, or accuse you of wanting to hurt them. At some point, you might even second-guess yourself and rack your brain for something you might have done. But remind yourself their behavior has nothing to do with you. Restate your boundaries and try not to take their spite personally. Take deep breaths to calm yourself or mindfully acknowledge their words so you can let them go without being affected. Sometimes, cutting people out of your life may seem like the only way to escape their toxic behavior. But this isn't always feasible. If you have to spend time with someone who exhibits toxic behavior, remind yourself their actions aren't your fault nor your responsibility. It's important they know what you're not willing to tolerate. These tips you heard from this video will help you. Not everything at once, but it will reduce the impact of toxic people. Take care and see you in the next video.